Welcome to the Period Podcast, hosted by your girl, Tammy Forrest, aka Tammy Michelle. How are you all doing today? I pray that everyone has been doing well as always. I pray that you all have been again prospering physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, and just, being well in every area of your lives. I pray God's best for each of you sincerely. So, welcome in to this is season 2, episode 4, and this episode is going to be a freestyle episode, guys. I was originally supposed to speak on a certain topic, and I just was led to do something different. I just was led to kind of share what was on my heart. And I was, also led to concerning the topic that I was previously supposed to talk about today, just to study more and engage more, so that I can give you all 100% in that area. Meaning it wouldn't be perfect, because I am my medical disclaimer from the very beginning that I am no expert. I am no health expert. I am not a doctor or physician, or, I don't have that expertise. The expertise that I do have and the expertise that I am, the place that I am speaking from is from my journey and what I have learned and what I have experienced. And this podcast is all about just sharing information, spreading awareness. It's a community where I share with a community of women on the topics about menstruation and surrounding menstruation. And you all share with me. And, we just create this big, gigantic learning tree and we just continue to grow and to learn. So I've never claimed to be an expert, so I do want to just put that medical disclaimer out there. However, when I speak on topics, I like to make sure that I study and educate myself as much as I can so that I'm giving you information that can be reliable, information that, that you can build on, right? As a foundation, even. So, yeah, so just really sufficient information. I never want to just be throwing things out of there. So, I just decided to do something totally different. Lately, I have been just really working on myself, right? Just really working on myself, just wanting to be a better me, wanting to be a better version of myself. And that, kind of leads me to the topic of just the uncomfortableness that you feel when it's time to move. So, my question is going to be to you all tonight: how do you know when it's time for you to move? How do you know when God is nudging at your heart to move from the place that you've been so comfortable in, to move from the place where you've just your comfort zone, your place of comfort where you're content and you know that you're not really content, right? But you are content in a way because you're like, okay, I'm staying right here, right? But you know in your heart that you're supposed to move. You know in your heart that you're supposed to do something different, something bigger, something more, but you're just stuck and you're like, you're not comfortable. And that uncomfortableness is God telling you, sis. Well, not sis, I'm telling you, sis. Sorry, but God telling you, daughter, it's time to move. This is why you're so uncomfortable. This is why you're not satisfied with this or that anymore. It's you've been in this place too long and it's time to move. That is the exact place that I've been in for the last couple of weeks, for the last couple of months. I've been in just like a eh, you know. I've been in that kind of weird space. And I think a lot of that truly has to do with not only personal life and things that, we deal with when we're in that icky place, of uncomfortableness. I think that it not only has to do with personal life issues, but I feel that it has to do with a lot of things that are going on in the world, because the world is just a crazy place to be in right now. There's so much happening, there's so much going on, there's so much at stake historically, just in this country right now. And even within our communities, within our Black communities, there's so many things that are happening to us. Maybe not directly, but we're being impacted by it directly because we are a part of the Black community. So all of those things play a part of the structure of our lives and how we operate in life. Whether we want to admit it or not, we are impacted by things that are happening in the world. But even with things that are happening in the world, nevertheless, we can still have peace amidst the chaos. In the midst of the chaos, we can still have peace. So that's not to say that whatever's going on in the world or whatever's going on in our personal lives, that, we have to let it affect us to the point where we can't function right and still have peace and have joy and have soundness of mind, because we absolutely can. But it does mean that we are impacted by those things, and we have to make adjustments daily, right, to make sure that we are still operating and moving from a place of peace, from a place of joy, right? We have to, you have to be intentional about your joy, you have to be intentional about peace, your calm. You have to be intentional about, what you are watching, eating, doing, engaging in, etc., etc. Right? We have to be intentional about those things, because if we are not intentional about those things, then we will be impacted in a way where it will directly affect the structure of our lives, and that won't be good. But back to that uncomfortableness that you feel when it's time to move, right? So I have a journal that I released. I released this journal, I want to say um, in March or April. I should know that date. It's just crazy. But I released the journal, and it is available on Amazon.com. And it is also available on my website. And you can find um, that link to my website. I'll link it to this episode of this podcast. But I released the journal. I wrote it last year, which was 2023, and I released it earlier this year. I'll just say earlier this year because I can't pinpoint the actual date as of right now. But the journal was called A Better Me. Is called, excuse me, A Better Me Self Care Journal with writing prompts included, by Tammy Forrest. So what brought me to the place where I felt like I needed to write a journal was God. It was all God, because just like the book that I wrote, Free to Be Me, um, I love writing. English is my favorite subject. I have been writing since I was a little girl. To give you all a backstory, since I was a little girl, I used to write poems, stage plays, music. Just everything. Writing was just, like a very sacred place. Just like music is a very sacred place to me. And I used to always write, but I never envisioned myself writing a book. Like if you would have told me that, I would have laughed. That was one of the many things that I did not think that I would do, or was on my like bucket list to do, or goals or anything like that. But going through the things that I went through, God needed me to share it, and not only for me, but for other women. And it happened the exact same way with this journal. So, a few years ago, probably like maybe 2020, 2021, somewhere around that mark, I started journaling, and taking journaling like very seriously, meaning intentionally journaling. Because when I look back, I have been journaling for years, like probably since around, I'm gonna say 2010. But I didn't look at it as journaling. I used to write like love letters to God. I used to like write my prayers out, how I was feeling, what I was going through. So that was a form of journaling, right? But I didn't, like intentionally pay attention to the benefits, intentionally pay attention to what exactly was going on in my life at that time, nor did I like go back to the journals, or to the writings and look at them to see, how far I had came, um, where I started from, etc., etc. So, like I said, around 2020, 2021, I started journaling again. And last year, journaling had the most impact on my life. Like, it was truly therapeutic. It became a part of my everyday routine that I could not live without. Not only was I journaling about my ministration journey, because that's what really prompted, because I started like journaling my health and what was going on, because I was going through so much around that time. I was going through so many changes, and I was just wanting to document it and document how I was feeling. And emotionally, I was going through a lot of things, because you will find, as a woman, we are amazing. Let me just say that. And we are complex, right? And our hormones play such a huge role, in how we show up in the world. They really do. And when you're dealing with any types of hormonal imbalances in your life, you will see how they will directly, impact how you show up in the world, how you show up emotionally in the world. And that's what I was dealing with at the time, unbeknownst to me, right? And that's a whole nother topic, hormonal imbalances and how your emotions tie into all those things. But I was, going through things physically, and I was being affected emotionally. I was dealing with my emotions, like so many emotions at one time. So I was documenting everything. I was journaling, and I was so serious about that. And that journaling was, like I said, so therapeutic. It was creating just a safe space for myself. It was like a therapy session from me to me, that was helping me see where I was and helping me to see where I was going, where I needed to be, the shift that needed to be made, the work. It was allowing me to clearly see the work that I needed to do. And so one day, something happened, and I was triggered by it. And I was like, I sat there and I said, oh wow, I'm really like, I'm really, messed up. I didn't think, that this was still affecting me. That was my exact thought, my exact words. I was like, I'm really messed up. Like I'm really flawed. Not that I thought I was perfect, because of course I don't think I'm perfect, but you know how you can think that you've like really grown in the area, or you've really healed from something so much so that it doesn't affect you anymore. Well, in this particular instance and situation, I was like, oh wow, like I was shocked myself. And I wasn't satisfied with that. I was like, mm-mm. No, I don't like how that feels. I don't like how this experience feels. I don't like to feel this way. I need to do something about it. And so I was like, God, I want to be a better me. I want to be a better version of myself. I want to work on myself in this area and in other areas. And so I started intentionally writing journal prompts, and I shared some of those journal prompts, I think on TikTok or something like that. And a lot of women saved them, and I say, you know what? I need to do something more. I need to do something personal for me. God, what can I do? What can I do? And that's how the A Better Me self care journal with writing prompts included came about. It came about from me wanting to do something for me and then wanting to share that something with other women. And that's exactly how it happened. And so within that journal, I prayed about prompts that would dissect my heart intentionally. I prayed about prompts that would help me and aid me on the journey of my journey of continued healing, because healing is what I'm finding out is it's a continuation, because even though you're healed, there are some things that will trigger you. There are some situations that will cause those things to kind of resurface, you know what I'm saying? And so it's a continuance of work. It's something that you have to be committed to. It's something that you have to be intentional about to stay adrift, right? And to me, it's something that you have to invite God in. Like, God, I invite you in to this healing, to this transformation, so that I can continue pressing forward and not go backwards. And so I intentionally prayed about journal prompts, and I wrote 20 journal prompt questions in this journal. And I ended up publishing it, releasing it, and putting it out. When I received the journal, my copy, the copy that I kept for myself, it was like it took me about 3 months to write in that journal, because I would look at it, I would look at the journal prompt questions, and I was like, I would just sit there. I would be like, how don't I know how to answer these questions about myself? How don't I know if that's proper grammar? How do I not know how to answer these questions? I know that I want to be a better me. I know that I want to be a better version of myself. Why am I not able to answer those questions? And I was stuck there, and I was stuck there looking back. I was stuck there because I was uncomfortable where I was. I know I needed to deal with these questions so that I can move from this place. But, sometimes we're comfortable. We're just comfortable. We're comfortable nurturing our pain. We're comfortable in the place that we are in. But God is saying, and I am saying and encouraging you all tonight to move from that place. Take an assessment of your life. Find out what you are not pleased with, what you are not satisfied with. Pray about it, bring it to God. Ask Him to show you, to reveal to you what is hindering you from moving, to reveal to you what is not in His plan and purpose and will for your life, and then to help you to take the steps to move forward, to get to your next place. Help you, give you the strength to leave that place where where you have gotten settled, that place where you have gotten comfortable. Move from that place of uncomfortableness. It is time to move. You've been there long enough. You've overstayed your welcome. It's time to move. So it took me 3 months to answer those questions. And one day I got brave. I opened that journal up and I started answering those questions. And it has been a journey, because when you begin to really look at yourself, like really look at yourself, there are going to be things that you'll find that you don't like, and that can be uncomfortable too, because you're like, oh Lord, I thought, I thought I had this together. I thought I was, this or that in this area, but it's like, no, you need to make some adjustments here. You need to make some adjustments there, and that's all right. That's okay. That's growth. And it's going to bring you to a beautiful place of healing. That inner work that you commit to and that you're willing to do is going to bring you to a beautiful place, a beautiful phase in your life. But you have to be willing to look at that uncomfortableness. You have to be willing to deal with that uncomfortableness. Don't just let it just sit on you and feel icky about it. What is this icky feeling, God? What's making me feel like this? I need to deal with this. I need to confront this so that I can walk in my healing that I know that God has for me. And so I started to, just dive into that. And I made a decision, an intentional decision that I want to be a better me, that I want to be a better version of myself, that every day that I get up, I want to be a better version of myself. I have people who depend on me. I have daughters. I have children. I have a husband. I have family. I have friends. I have you all, the Period Podcast, my audience. I have women who I have yet to meet, or just people in general that I have yet to meet that God has designated to my life. I want to be the best version of myself, not the perfect version, because we are not perfect. That's not what we're trying to do. Perfection is not the goal, right? Um, the goal is progress. It's always progress over perfection. Every day there is progress to be made. Every day there is and should be an intention to be the best version of yourself. The only person that you should be in competition with is yourself and who you were yesterday. There's no other woman that you should be in competition with, no other person. Your life is enough. You are enough. You are worthy. What God has called you to do is enough, right? So you have your hands full. They're full of purpose. They're full of goodness. They're full of value, full of purpose, like I said. And you have to deal with that uncomfortableness if you ever want or desire to walk in the fullness of what God has for you. So that's where I'm at. That's where I've been at. I've been feeling that uncomfortableness, and I've been praying every day. I made a decision to, because another thing, if I can be transparent, that I have a problem with, it's praying for myself. And I've had this problem for a while. Like, it is easy for me to pray for everybody else. If you call me or text me and be like, can you pray for me? That's flight work. That's so easy to do. But when it comes to me intentionally praying for myself, I'm like, okay, what am I praying for? What do I need? So that's been a goal of mine. These last couple of weeks, I've been setting intentional time up to make sure that I'm praying, first of all, intentionally praying. That's what I've been doing. And making sure that I am covering myself in prayer, because that's very, very important. Um, and it just keeps me balanced in life, just because I want to hear from God. I want to hear what he has for me, where he's taking me, you know, what's needed on this journey, who's needed on this journey that I'm going on. That is so important. It's important to just be equipped. So I want to be equipped. I want to be, like I said, a better me, um, the best version of myself that I can be. So, yeah, I encourage you to take some time this week, even these last few months. Tomorrow will be a new month. It will be October 1st. That's a fresh start. You have a whole month where you can intentionally carve out time and dedicate time to start dealing with that uncomfortableness. It is not supposed to be there. It is an indication that you have stayed in the same place too long. I used to think and feel that things that I was not happy or satisfied with were there to bring me down or make me depressed or sad. But my perspective has changed so much, and that comes with growth and experiences. My perspective has changed because now I see those areas that I am not comfortable with, those areas that I am not happy about. I see those areas as an opportunity for me to move, as an opportunity for me to grow, as an opportunity for me to work on myself. And again, be the best version of myself, to be a better me. And so I encourage you to take the time, this week, next month, the rest of the year, because time is passing and we will soon be in 2025 if God allows us to see it. So we can take the time that we have, we can intentionally be intentional about it. We can intentionally set aside time to really work on ourselves, to do some self work, to do some self healing. We talk about self care, that word is thrown around so much, but the best self care that we can do is to take care of ourselves, right? Because if we don't take care of ourselves, then we are no good to anybody else. And we deserve to give ourselves the best care, to honor ourselves, to love ourselves, to value ourselves. We deserve that. We're deserving of that. You are deserving of that. So let's commit to honor ourselves by taking care of ourselves and dealing with that uncomfortableness, because I don't know about you, but I'm excited to move. And I pray that you are excited to move too. Um, that is pretty much the end of this episode. This was, like I said, it was a freestyle, y'all. Just dealing with the uncomfortableness, knowing when it's time to move. How that nagging feeling is trying to get you to get up, make some adjustments, and answer the call. Answer the call to where God is calling you, and get on with it. God, what do you have for me? What is my next? Because I've been in this place too long and I'm uncomfortable. And I know that uncomfortableness means that it's time for me to make a move and it's time for me to shift. So shift your perspective this week. Get with God. Spend some time with yourself and embark on your healing journey, sis. I encourage you to do that. So that wraps up, like I said, the end of this episode. And this also wraps up season 2. I didn't realize that October was like next month. I was sitting down with my notes the other day and I'm like, okay, it'll be October. So what's going to happen is, because we're about to enter the season where there are holidays back to back, um, not really so much of October, but we have November, which is Thanksgiving. You have December, which is Christmas and the New Year. So the Period Podcast usually takes a break. And when we come off of that break, we go right into another season. So yeah, so we're taking a break, y'all. That break will be from October through February. And if God says the same, we will be back in March of 2025 with a brand new season and brand new episodes. So I love you all. I pray that you just continue to move forward in life. If you have any mishaps, if you fall down, sis, dust yourself up. Dust yourself off. I'm sorry, not up. Dust yourself off and get back up. Keep moving no matter what. Every day that you wake up, know that God has given you purpose. Know that there's a reason for your existence. This is the Period Podcast. It's a conversation about periods. Join the conversation. Till next time, see you later.